Entrepreneurs and Entrepreneurs Relief scrapped 2021. Is this the reality that has been suggested by the OTS? Check out this report as I go through the saddening news. Hi everyone, my name is Simon Misiewicz. I'm from Optimise Accountants, and in this video we're going to be talking about the scrapping potentially of Entrepreneurs Relief. How does this affect you? Well, we'll have a look later on, but the reason why you should watch this video is because you might want to be thinking about selling your business now, sooner rather than later. You might also want to understand how it's going to affect you in the future, and if you need to do something sooner rather than later. Have you noticed what I'm saying here? Sooner rather than later. A lot of tax planning requires you to be proactive and to look at the current situation we have and then to do something about it. Now, I have provided a link to the report, which is from the Office of Tax Simplification, which is what Rishi Sunak in June 2020 has suggested that we do something about capital gains tax. There is a report, there is a link to that report, make sure you watch that. I also did a deep dive into that report. The link for that video is appearing above my head and in the description box below. Do watch that video because I do go through their report highlighting different sections that I know will affect you. Now, the whole purpose of this report, and I'll let you read that, is to create equality and to remove the administrative burdens that the tax regime is set up on. So you might want to just understand that from their perspective, is that they want to create this equality. Now, the interesting thing about entrepreneurship is not everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. There are people that are happy to be content with their jobs, and that's perfectly good and well because we need a diverse society. Isn't that what our society is based on? And yet, HMRC and the OTS are suggesting we want to create just a pure equality across. Well, entrepreneurship is not equality. It is about someone taking risks, taking the fall, and then someone succeeding. That's what entrepreneurs is all about. So are we suggesting that we shouldn't have entrepreneurs in the future? Well, my view is the Conservative Party are saying exactly that. In their report, which is contradictory all the way through, is saying, and there's some big audit firms in this report. I'm not going to mention names. I don't want to go into a lot of problems with them. But equally, they've got people from different big sectors saying, yes, we agree with all this. But all the way through the report, it's littered with contradiction about we want fairness, we want entrepreneurship. It just does not make sense, but I'll let you read that. The big thing, one of the recommendations was the government should abolish investors' relief. And in that report, they talk about, well, not many people use it. Not many, because there's not many entrepreneurs. I don't, obvious, but anyway. So what's Entrepreneurs Relief? Let's talk about that. So Entrepreneurs Relief is given to someone who is a director of a business, so a shareholder as well, as it says here. So you need to own at least 5% of the share value. You need to be director of the business or at least an employee, but mainly a director. You need to be a trade and not an investment company. So professional services, property developer, selling products, all allowed. Investments whereby you buy, hold investments such as gold, silver, commodities, properties, not allowed. So only trade professionals, selling products, that kind of thing. You must have owned the shares for 3 or more years, and you will dispose or hand over on death. If you do any of those things, it's possible to hand over your business and there'll be no tax at all, or sell your business. So that's an interesting thing about Entrepreneurs Relief. I appreciate this is very, very top level, and you will need to get some advice from your tax accountant to help you with this. But Entrepreneurs Relief is a way to not pay too much tax. So before we go any further, if you want to talk about Entrepreneurs Relief, or indeed the capital gains tax changes, which may impact not only capital gains tax itself, but inheritance tax, and indeed further on, Entrepreneurs Relief, then make sure that you book a call with Optimise Accountants using the code YouTube25 so you can get a 30-minute tax consultation for less than £200. Let's go through what Entrepreneurs Relief is and the tax that you might have to pay. Now, before March 2020, there is something called Entrepreneurs Relief for the £10 million band, which basically means that you would have a 10% tax rate for disposals of a business at £10 million. So from that perspective, I'm just going to use my screen pointer. So you got business for sale, and then you got this investors relief at £10 million, which you still pay tax, but it's at the entrepreneurial rate of 10%, which encourages people to start a business and to employ other people, which is great, to be fair. So you have this 10% tax band, and you would pay £1 million worth of tax for that £10 million disposal. And let's be fair, someone else is going to pick up that business and do something with it, and HMRC would still get the income tax, corporation tax, all that kind of good stuff, but you pay tax on that disposal. Now that's fine, we could all live with that. But Rishi Sunak in March 2020 said, no, don't like that. Let's talk about reducing that from 10 million down to 1 million, which basically means that you've got a £10 million disposal now of selling a business. Investors relief is reduced to 1 million, which basically means you have a 10% tax band of £100,000, but the rest of it would be subject to 20% tax, which is now 1.9 million, almost doubling up now the amount of tax that you pay as an entrepreneur. Doesn't stop though, does it? Because the OTS report suggests that they need to increase capital gains tax and move it more to income tax rates, which is devastating for you as an entrepreneur. If you make a disposal of £10 million and by go, you will be moved into the additional rate tax band with that level of income, you will end up picking 45%. And I've just assumed that you're an additional rate taxpayer anyway. Why wouldn't I? Because you're an entrepreneur, you will be earning quite a substantial amount of money. And let's not forget that disposals isn't on capital gains tax rates. The recommendation by OTS is that it's based on income tax. Boy, that's a major issue. So that's now going to be 45%, which is £4.5 million that you will pay in tax on a disposal of 10 million. So you've built this business over time and now you pay this amount of tax. And basically this is what it looks like in summary. £10 million disposals across the top there before March 2020 till now, and then recommendation. And you can see the different types of taxes that apply. Ultimately, in the old regime, 10% tax for businesses that is £10 million or less, which I think is fair. But then Rishi Sunak said, no, we're going to charge more tax than that. We don't want entrepreneurs in this country, so we'll tax you at 19%. Furthermore, the OTS doesn't like entrepreneurs either, so they're going to say, well, we want 45% of your money to be taxed. By go, that is a lot of money, and it does give huge question marks over this whole sentiment of we want entrepreneurs in this business, in this country. I think that the Conservative Party is following Labour in regards to saying everyone needs to be employees. And if that is the case, who is going to be driving leadership in this country? I don't know. I really don't know anymore. If you're charging 45% tax on someone that is taking fundamental risks to grow their business, and you're going to tax them at 45% at the end of the day, I think it might be better to leave the country. I really do. So what's your thoughts? I mean, are you as angry as I am about this potential talk of scrapping entrepreneurs relief? I mean, it's already been reduced, but what's your thoughts? Are you quite frustrated by this? Because I certainly am. And if you are going through this, what are your tax planning points now that there is this huge amount of risk of ER being scrapped altogether? Are you selling a business? Are you thinking about selling a business? Are your plans now changing as a result? Make sure you drop me a line. I'd be really interested to see what your thoughts are. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss out on any future videos that I release. Until next time, this is a very frustrated Simon Misiewicz from Optimise Accountants. I'll see you again soon.